The mat smelled of disinfectant, sweat, and determination. The sound of gloves smacking pads echoed like a drumbeat of ambition. Heavy bags swung back and forth under the pounding fists of fighters who dreamed of glory. The air vibrated with grunts, shouts, and the occasional roar of triumph. This was the world of warriors. The MMA gym where champions were made. But in the far corner, where shadows clung to the walls, there was a man nobody noticed. He didn't wear gloves. He didn't spar. He didn't train under the bright lights. Instead, he pushed a mop across the sweat-stained floor, dragging his tired body from one corner to another. His name was Arman. To the fighters, he was invisible. To the trainers, he was just the cleaner. To the world outside, he was nobody. But inside his chest beat a heart that carried more battles than most of those young fighters could imagine. And one night, when he was forced to step on the mat, the world would finally see the strength he had kept hidden for years. To the invisible man, Arman was in his late 40s. His back was slightly bent from years of hard labor, and his calloused hands carried the story of every job he had ever taken to survive. He had worked in construction sites, warehouses, delivery trucks, and now an MMA gym. His wife Mira had passed away nearly a decade ago. Cancer took her away slowly, painfully, leaving Arman with not just heartbreak but a mountain of debt. At the time, their daughter Anaya was only 5 years old. She had grown up watching her father work long hours, often coming home exhausted, but always with a smile for her. "Papa, why do you work so much?" she once asked, tugging at his sleeve as he dragged himself to bed. "Because one day, my princess," Arman replied, brushing her hair back, "I want you to have a life where you never need to struggle like me." Those words became his vow. Every mop stroke, every bead of sweat, every humiliation he swallowed, it was all for her. But that didn't make it easier. At the gym, fighters mocked him openly. Some tossed their towels at him carelessly, expecting him to pick them up. Others laughed when they saw him scrubbing blood from the mats. "Hey mop man, don't forget to clean under the bag," one shouted. "Careful, don't trip over your own bucket, old man," another jeered. But the cruelest of them all was Karan, the head trainer. To the arrogant trainer, Karan was everything Arman wasn't. Young, muscular, and arrogant, he strutted around the gym like he owned it. With multiple fight titles under his belt, he was respected by trainees and feared in the cage. But his ego was bigger than his talent. He loved belittling Arman. To him, the cleaner wasn't just invisible, he was entertainment. "You spend so much time here, janitor," Karan smirked once. "You'd think you'd learn to fight instead of cleaning up other men's sweat." The fighters laughed. Arman forced a smile, lowered his gaze, and continued mopping. But inside every word was a cut. Karan didn't stop there. Sometimes he'd spill water on purpose just to make Arman clean it again. Other times, he'd accidentally drop his gloves at Arman's feet. The fighters joined in, turning mockery into a game. Arman never reacted. He couldn't. This job kept food on his table. It paid Anaya's school fees. Losing it would mean losing everything. So he swallowed his pride. But pride has a way of waiting, of building, of biding its time until the moment it erupts. The breaking point: one Friday evening, the gym was unusually rowdy. A group of trainees stayed back with Karan. They were drinking energy drinks, cracking jokes, and egging each other on. Arman was, as always, in the corner, mopping quietly. Karan spotted him and smirked. "Look at him. Still here. Still mopping." He walked over, his voice rising so everyone could hear. "Tell me, mop man, do you ever wonder what it's like to be a real man? To step into the ring instead of cleaning it?" The fighters erupted in laughter. Arman kept his head down. He muttered softly, "I'm just here to work, sir." But Karan wasn't finished. He grabbed the mop from Arman's hands and tossed it across the gym. It clattered loudly, silencing the room for a moment. Then he jabbed a finger toward the mat. "No more mopping tonight. Either you fight me right now, or you walk out and never come back. No job, no money, nothing." Gasp filled the room. The fighters pulled out their phones, ready to record. They wanted blood. They wanted humiliation. They wanted to see the cleaner broken. Arman froze. His heart pounded. He thought of Anaya, of the bills stacked on his kitchen counter, of the shame he had carried for years. And then he lifted his eyes. "Fine," he said. His voice was steady, though his hands trembled. "I'll fight." The forgotten fighter, they strapped gloves on him, the leather stiff and unfamiliar. To the young fighters, it was a joke. To Karan, it was a show. But to Arman, it was something else entirely. because once upon a time, long before life crushed him, he had been a fighter. Not in professional rings, but in dusty village wrestling pits and local boxing clubs. He had trained in his youth, dreaming of becoming a champion. But life had other plans. He gave it all up to work, to provide, to survive. Those memories had been buried deep, but tonight, standing under the gym lights, they came rushing back. His muscles remembered. His heart remembered. The bell rang. Karan danced around him, grinning, mocking. He threw a lazy jab that grazed Arman's chin. The crowd laughed. Another punch, harder this time, snapped Arman's head back. "Come on, old man!" Karan taunted. Arman staggered. His body screamed at him to quit. But then, in that split second, something inside him snapped. Karan lunged forward with a wild right hook, his guard wide open. And Arman's fist, powered by years of swallowed pain, humiliation, and buried strength, shot forward. His knuckles connected with Karan's jaw. Siras, the trainer, dropped out cold. The gym went silent. Phones stopped recording. Mouths hung open. The mop man had knocked out the undefeated trainer in one punch. The world finds out the next morning. The video exploded online. Millions watched in disbelief as the humble cleaner flattened the arrogant trainer. Headlines called him the one-punch janitor. Memes spread. Interviews were requested. For the first time, Arman wasn't invisible. Opportunities poured in. Small fight offers, sponsorships, even coaching requests. Anaya hugged him tight when she saw the video.
"Papa, you're amazing!"
She squealed, her eyes glowing with pride. Arman felt something he hadn't felt in years. Dignity. But with recognition came new challenges. To the tests ahead, many fighters dismissed his punch as luck. A fluke, they said. The janitor just got lucky. Some even challenged him, desperate to prove themselves against the man who embarrassed Karan. Arman accepted, not out of pride, but out of necessity. Each fight paid, each fight meant more security for Anaya's future. The road wasn't easy. He was older, slower, and his body ached in ways the young fighters couldn't understand. He trained at night, alone, using old techniques, pushing himself beyond exhaustion. Doubt haunted him. Fear whispered that he didn't belong. But every time he wanted to quit, he remembered the nights scrubbing the gym floor while others mocked him. He remembered the promise he made to his daughter, and he fought one by one. He silenced his doubters. Some fights he won with grit, others with strategy. Each time, he proved that heart could overcome age, that dignity could outshine arrogance. The legacy years later, Arman wasn't just a cleaner anymore. He was a coach, a mentor, a fighter who had become a symbol of resilience. Young trainees who once laughed at him now bowed their heads in respect. Karan, humbled and changed, eventually returned, not as an enemy, but as someone who finally understood humility. Arman taught his students that strength wasn't about muscles or titles, it was about perseverance. He reminded them never to underestimate anyone, because every person carries a hidden strength, waiting for the right moment to be revealed. And when people asked him about that night, the night he went from mop to mat, he always smiled and said, "Life tried to keep me down. But the moment I stood up for myself, I realized I had always been strong." Sometimes, all it takes is one punch, one decision, to change your life forever. To message to you and now to you, watching this video. How many times have you been overlooked? How many times has life mocked you, underestimated you, pushed you into a corner? Maybe you feel invisible right now, like Arman did. Maybe people laugh at your dreams, just like they laughed at him. But remember this, inside you is a strength no one has seen yet. One moment can change everything. One decision can turn your life around. So don't give up. Don't let the world tell you who you are. Stand tall. Fight back. Because you are stronger than you know. And before you go, I want to hear from you. What would you have done if you were in Arman's shoes that night? Would you have stepped onto the mat? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if this story inspired you, please like this video, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and subscribe to my channel. Be kind always. Because no matter where you start, even with a mop in your hand, you can still rise, still fight, and still win.